Hello everybody out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to the third race of Season 4 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I'm Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, the NNSCRA Domino's NXT Series, and the NNSCRA Amazon Prime Truck Series, here to welcome you to the Auto Club 400 here at California Speedway, as we're getting set for 30 laps of racing here at this famed 2-mile racetrack. Now, before we look at the starting lineup, we gotta take a look at the point standings as they look coming into the race today. So after last week at Las Vegas to kick off the first of 4 races of this West Coast swing, Trent Dunham takes the points lead over. Second, Carson Gum. Third is rookie Charles Belding, but unfortunately he did not make this race, so he's going to drop further down in the point standings. Fourth, William Brock, and then fifth is Brandon Gonzalez, and he didn't make the race either, so he's going to drop as well. Sixth is James McLeod. Seventh, Joshua Collard, who I don't think made the race today. Eighth, Sean Galligan. Ninth, Dorian Facepuncher, and then 10th, DJ Curtis. So, with quite a few drivers who are high up in the point standings, they're going to fall down in the point standings for not making the race. But with that stated, let's take a look at the starting lineup. Starting in the last row will be Joshua Sekuli and Chris Dollarton. Top 10, Jessica Sheldon is on the pole for today. Starting next to her is Emmanuel Hartnett. Row 2 is Johnny Gardner, Tim Fiegel. Row 3, William Brock and Ashlyn Boyd. Row 4, Matt McIntyre, Kyle Matthews. And then row 5, Dylan Young and Seth Cole. With that said, let's get the command to fire engines for the Auto Club 400 at California.
Drivers, start your engines!
So all 42 cars going on the track for their one pace lap. Now, the interesting thing with this race, quite a few rookies who did not make either the first 2 races did qualify their way in this week. And those drivers, off the top of my head, if I can remember, include Alex Drayton, who I see starting in the 11th position right there in that 14 car. Right behind him, Sky Commons in the 45. Others that made it in who were rookies. Alex Ferranti making his debut today in this series. John Cittadino is back. There's a couple more out there that I can't quite remember off the top of my head that did qualify into this race that were rookies. But yeah, we're going to see a massive point shakeup heading into next week, and next week is our first road course trip of the season, Sonoma Raceway, and that will be quite the interesting race right there. But look at this, the 02 and the 20 starting on the front row, and these two have quite a bit of history. Jessica Sheldon, Emmanuel Hartnett, but the pace car's in the pit road, and it's time to boogity 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 go racing! Well, Jessica Sheldon leads the first lap, so that's 2 extra bonus points. 1 for getting the pole, and 1 for leading a lap. But here comes the 10 of Ashlyn Boyd with a run on the inside to try and take the lead for himself. Ashlyn Boyd's got that run on the inside line. Now, typically from what we've seen here at this racetrack, in the early stages of a green flag run, the outside lane gets the bigger run off of turn 4, but off of turn 2, it's the bottom that gets the bigger run. But as this run progresses, the bottom lane will kick in a lot more all over the place, and as we're seeing here off of 2 here, Ashland Boyd clears Shelton for the lead, but that opens the door for Emmanuel Hartnett to try and go for the lead. Or maybe not for the lead, but for second for the time being, as here comes Dylan Young, and another Dylan Jacobs, who's already found his way up here in the top 5. Dylan Jacobs, so far, first 2 races of the season, not quite the start that he was looking for. He fell all the way back to about, I want to say 27th in the point standings, so he's definitely looking to rebound, just like anyone else who's trying to rebound. And there's one guy looking to rebound, last season's defending champion, Matt McIntyre, in that number 32 car right now here in the early goings, running up here in the top 10. It's a question of whether or not he can try and stay up there is the big thing. And look at that sweet new Grand Theft Auto 5 paint scheme for Phil Parker in the 09. Sporting the colors and logos of one of the best games today. As I'm looking back up here at the front, Ashland Boyd did lead that lap, but now here comes Emmanuel Hartnett to try and clear for the lead. But he opens up room for Dylan Jacobs to try and make something work, and now it's potentially going to be, well, I thought it was going to be 3 wide, but not quite enough room for Dylan Jacobs to get underneath the 10, and now the 10 of Ashland Boyd trying to keep the lead, and I think he will get to keep it. Although Hartnett hanging in strong on the outside, but Ashland Boyd does lead this lap. But now here comes Dylan Jacobs. He's going to have a big run on the inside. Can he get there in time? And it looks like he does have his nose underneath, but the caution is out. Let's see what for. The 49 of Zach Flickinger looked like it involved him and perhaps Dorian Facepuncher, but no big damage to either car, so might have been a 2-car spin, and the only guy who hit anything was perhaps the 49. You can see a little bit of rear end damage, but I don't think that will truly affect him all that much, so perhaps a very minor accident right here in turns 1 and 2 to bring the caution out, and Ashland Boyd is your race leader. Pace car all the way up, about heading into turn 3. But yeah, interesting battles for the lead here in the early going of this race. And Ashland Boyd currently has that top spot. We're going to stay with them for just a little bit to see if they're going to come into pit road, because pit strategy is key here at this racetrack. We have seen it time and time before at this racetrack in other series where, say, you're the leader on the last lap and you came into pit road because you didn't have enough gas. But it does look like everyone is coming into pit road, although I see one staying out. Might be the only car staying out. No, I think another one stayed out too. Yeah, 2 cars elected to stay out on track, as I'm trying to find who they are. One of them's James McLeod, and the other one is Tim Fiegel. So Tim Fiegel, for now, will be the race leader when we get back to green. But let's go ahead and take a look at the replay of what brought the caution out for the first time today in the Auto Club 400 at California. So all this starts just past the start-finish line, and it's going to be Zach Flickinger in the 49. It looks like he tries to come up in front of Sean Galligan, but just not enough room to make it work, and then he barely gets into the outside wall to make a little bit of cosmetic damage contact. And then Dorian Facepuncher just got held up and just made very little contact with the 49, so really, both cars got through with very minimal damage, so I don't expect the 49 to be done for today. I think he'll still get to continue. Will he be up to speed, though, is the bigger question, but I do think he will be, because the only damage he really sustained was a little bit on the rear end. But unless you, like, really hit the outside wall a ton on the rear end, it won't really affect your car. So I do expect Zach Flickinger to be able to continue to race for positions. So with that said, let's go ahead and take you to the restart here at California. As expected, every car is still on track. All 42 cars are still running. But 2 cars elected to stay out under the caution to maybe create some strategy, perhaps, in hopes for a quick caution so that way they could be on equal ground with everyone. But Tim Fiegel is your leader, and he's the one of 2 cars that stayed out, and the second one is the guy in second, James McLeod. Everyone else pitted. 3rd, Ashland Boyd. 4th, Jessica Shelton. 5th, Emmanuel Hartnett. 6th, Matt McIntyre. 7th, Jay Jefferson. 8th is DJ Curtis. 9th, Phil Parker. 10th, Paul Minnick. 11th is Charles Sanford. 12th is Matt Haas. 13th, Trent Dunham. 14th, Seth Cole. 15th, Dylan Poteet. 16th, Dylan Young. 17th, John Cittadino. 18th, Joshua Sekuli. 19th, Dylan Jacobs. 20th is Benjamin Miles. 21st is Jake Baskinger. 22nd is Chris Dollarton. 23rd is Sky Commons. 24th, Kyle Matthews. 25th is Dylan Thoreau. 26th is Zachary Fitzwater. 28th, Rafael LeDuc. 29th, James Qualls. 30th, currently, is Alex Ferranti. I almost forgot for a second. Anyways, 31st is Johnny Gardner. 32nd, Peachy London. 33rd, Shane Lake. 34th is Anthony McCurry. 35th, Scott Roush. Then the rest of the field is Jonathan Zorling, Dorian Facepuncher, Carson Gunn, Preston Plord, William Brock, Alex Strayton, Sean Galligan, and Zach Flickinger. Green flag back out with 20 laps to go. Still got more than half the race to go to determine who's going to win the second event of the 4-event West Coast Swing. Still got 2 more races of the West Coast Swing, the next race being at Sonoma, and then the finale of the West Coast Swing at Arizona. Meanwhile, Ashland Boyd, who is on fresher tires than the 8 and the 51, he's trying to make a challenge for the lead, but again, remember, no matter what tire strategy you're on, in the early runnings of a green flag run, off of turn 4, the outside lane gets the bigger run to keep their position. But if there's still drivers on the bottom, as you can see right here, they'll get the bigger run here in turns 1 and 2. And Ashland Boyd retakes the lead as a result. Tim Fiegel now back to second, but leaving room for Jessica Sheldon. Whoa, Fiegel really sideways. I think he's trying to get into pit road. So I guess that strategy did not work out in favor of the 8. He was hoping that a quick caution would have come out and he could have been on equal ground, but unfortunately he has to come into pit road. James McLeod, who's the other one that pitted, he's still out on track. I don't know if he's coming in this time by or if he's going to try and stretch it out with everyone else. But because of that, Ashland Boyd now has a steady lead over Jessica Shelton. And now here comes McLeod with a run to the bottom. Oh, but I think he's coming in too. He's slowing down on track. Yep, he's going into pit road. So neither Fiegel or McLeod could make it. Right now, Ashland Boyd has a near 4/10 of a second lead over Jessica Shelton, but Shelton is definitely reeling in the 10. Couple of Furniture Row racing cars right beside each other. Jay Jefferson and Matt Haas running in 3rd and 4th currently, but now Matt Haas going to try and take 3rd away. And it looks like he's going to get the run, at least for now. Let's go to helicopter view. He should be able to pull out in front of the 87 to clear him, but he's going to wait a moment before he does that. Let's see where the other Furniture Row racing cars are currently running. One of them being Rafael LeDuc. Still mid-pack around 25th. And I see Dylan Jacobs just up ahead back in 19th. But there's still plenty of time for people to make something work. And how about their affiliate, Seth Cole, up in 11th. So Not bad for the backmarker motorsports car. Too bad, though, his teammate James Shelley, I don't think has made any races yet, so he's definitely looking to try and come back next week at Sonoma to make a race. Meanwhile, Matt Haas has got a run on Jessica Sheldon for second, but doesn't quite get that run off of 2. And Dylan Poteet tried to go for a move, but the 79 shut the door on him, but the 31 of Poteet going for the crossover on the bottom. But Matt Haas still hanging in strong on the outside for now, but Jessica Sheldon has reeled in the 10 of Ashlyn Boyd. Jessica Sheldon, who did start on the pole earlier, led the first lap. She's definitely looking to try and get another bonus point. If she can get by Ashlyn Boyd now and lead the rest of the way, she could take the most laps led bonus points. So that would mean if she were to win and do that, she would get the maximum of points you can get, which is 53 points. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen right now. But a couple of cars coming into pit road. Matt Haas coming in. And I think I saw, yes, Seth Cole is in. LeDuc is in. Hartnett's coming in. London, McIntyre, Minnick, Lake, among many others. Some interesting pit strategy here in the first part of the second half of the race. But you gotta wonder if it's gonna be enough for them to make it the rest of the way. Because it seems like every 10 laps, every 8 to 10 laps, these drivers have to come into pit road for tires and gas. Some people do stay out. Sky Commons is going to take the lead now. And Johnny Gardner right on the back bumper, big time, almost pushed him to the lead. But now Gardner's going to tear it away and get to the front for himself. A couple other cars who stayed out. Carson Gumb's still out there. Preston Plord, William Brock still on track. And I believe that they are the only 5 yet to come into pit road under this green flag run. But I think this is the sign that they're going to come in now, and it looks like they are coming in now. Meanwhile, the second group of cars still trying to complete their stops. Oh, Jessica Sheldon had a longer stay. That's going to cost her some time. But Ashlyn Boyd does get out ahead of the second group. Not sure as to who got out ahead in the first group that pitted. I would have assumed that it would have been Matt Haas. And I'm trying to look around for him, and there he is. But I think Matt Haas, if everything cycles around properly, Matt Haas might have just taken the lead right there. But will the 41 and the 45 be able to beat the 79 out? I don't think so, because they're coming to the start-finish line now, and these guys are just now coming off of pit road going into turn 1. Keeping our eyes on Matt Haas for the time being to see if he's going to beat out Johnny Gardner, and I think he is going to. And indeed he does, so we have a brand new leader, Matt Haas in the 79. So now, the field as it stands, as we're coming to the line to take 10 laps to go, Matt Haas is your race leader. Second is Ashlyn Boyd. Third, Dylan Poteet. Fourth, Jay Jefferson. Fifth, Johnny Gardner. Sixth, Raphael LeDuc. Seventh, Jake Baskinger. Eighth, Seth Cole. Ninth, Sky Comets. 10th, Pichu London. 11th, Tim Fiegel. 12th, James McLeod. 13th, Preston Plord. 14th, Jessica Sheldon. 15th, John Cittadino. 16th, Phil Parker. 17th, Zachary Fitzwater. 18th, Paul Minnick. 19th, Emmanuel Hartnett. 20th, Charles Sanford. 21st, Trent Dunham. 22nd, Jonathan Zorline. 23rd, Anthony McCrory. 24th, Carson Gum. 25th, William Brock. 26th, Dorian Facepuncher. 27th, DJ Curtis. 28th, Matt McIntyre. 29th, James Qualls. 30th, Sean Galligan. 31st, Joshua Sekuli. 32nd, is Scott Roush. 33rd, it's a battle, but it's going to go to Dylan Thoreau. 34th, Shane Lake. 35th, Chris Dollarton. 36th, Dylan Young. 37th, Zach Flickinger. 38th, Kyle Matthews. 39th, Alex Ferranti. 40th, Alex Strayton. And then 41st, Benjamin Miles. And then dead last is Dylan Jacobs. I wonder what in the world happened to him. Also, you got to keep an eye out on the 8 and the 51 because they pitted separately just before the halfway point, and I don't think they have pitted yet. Well, now Fiegel comes in, but will McLeod come in this time by is the question. Let's watch him. I see him slowing down, so I think that's the obvious sign he is coming in. But this could be an advantage if everyone has to pit before the last couple of laps. They could be able to stay out longer and get the lead, though it's going to be a long shot. But currently Ashland Boyd's still hanging on to the spot after taking it back. Dylan Poteet right there on the back bumper. But how about Johnny Gardner's strategy? It actually worked out well for himself and Sky Commons. They both were 2 of the 5 cars that pitted last, and they're both running up here in the top 10. But how about a comeback run for Rafael Leduc? He started outside the top 20 and was kind of stagnant in mid-pack until these pit stops happened, and now he's up here in the top 10 in the 6th position. And just in front of him are 2 of his teammates, Jay Jefferson and Matt Haas, as they're fighting for the 4th position, and that's going to actually help for Rafael Leduc to maybe go on by both of them. Meanwhile, a 3-way fight for the lead continues. Ashland Boyd has the spot, but Poteet right behind him. Johnny Gardner trying to use the bottom lane by himself to go for something. And it might work out for him. He's got a run on the bottom of the 10, but he doesn't have him cleared yet. And because the draft is quite efficient here at California, the outside lane, because of Ashland Boyd having help from Poteet, that helped the 10 keep the spot. As we're under 5 laps to go in this race, and as I see way in the back, big gap separation. Then again, that's also possible because of a couple of those cars like Fiegel and McLeod coming in the pits. But it's 3.5 laps to go, and like I said, you gotta wonder if these leaders have enough gas for the rest of the way. So these last couple laps here are going to be interesting. Peachy London's coming in, and I think I've seen Seth Cole come in behind him. Yeah, I don't think everybody's going to be able to make it on gas unless they want to try and risk it. But this is going to be interesting. But I think the guys who may be in the catbird seat are the 41 of Gardner and the 45 of Commons, because they stayed out longer than everyone. That is if most of these people are going to come in the pit road before the end of the race. Let's see. Matt Haas slowing down. Rafael Leduc slowing down. Fitzwater's coming in. Less than 2 laps to go now here at California. Will Ashland Boyd, among others in this group here, try and stay out to risk it? If I were Ashland Boyd, I would try and stay out, because the 41 and the 45 both are on the same equal ground in terms of gas. And they're going to try and go on by. And everyone else up here in this group's going to stay out, among many other drivers. But Johnny Gardner is taking the lead, and the white flag is out here at California. Final shot for some of these other guys to try and make something work. Poteet makes it 3 wide for second. And it looks like he's going to have the spot for now. But Commons got that big run on the outside. But this is exactly what Gardner likes to see, is those guys behind him battle it out while he pulls away. Nobody in the first 6 decided to come in that time. Checkered flag is going to wave now. Johnny Gardner wins the Auto Club 400 at California Speedway. Pit strategy came into play big time at the end. Some had to come in, but some decided to risk it and stay out. And it paid off big for Johnny Gardner. An interesting strategy. Stayed out longer than everyone else under the first round of green flag pit stops. Managed to get in the right spot and somehow find his way to first place. Let's look at the rest of the results. Another guy who stayed out with him was Sky Commons, and Sky Commons is the highest finishing rookie in his debut in this season. Manages to finish out in second. Dylan Poteet with a great run in the third spot. Jay Jefferson, solid performance in the fourth spot. And the most dominant car of the day, Ashlyn Boyd, finishes in fifth. Jake Baskinger finishing out in sixth. John Cittadino with a great run in seventh. Great run for Preston Blord, who didn't really have much going on today. Trent Dunham, the points leader, looks like he'll keep the points lead as he finishes in ninth. And Jessica Sheldon finishing the top 10 with a great run in 10th. Rest of the top 20 was William Brock, Carson Gum, Charles Sanford, Phil Parker, DJ Curtis, Joshua Sekuli, James Quall, Scott Roush, Chris Dollarton, Dylan Young. Rest of the lead lap cars were Alex Drayton and Kyle Matthews. Everyone else pitted towards the end or was already a lap down, and they were Matt Haas, Raphael Leduc, Pichu London, Seth Cole, Paul Minnick, Zachary Fitzwater, Jonathan Zorline, Anthony McCrory, Emmanuel Hartnett, Dorian Facepuncher, Matt McIntyre, Sean Galligan, Zach Flickinger, Shane Lake, Benjamin Miles, Alex Ferranti, Dylan Thoreau, James McLeod, Tim Fiegel, and Dylan Jacobs. Well, that does it for our coverage here today at Auto Club, California Speedway. Next race will be our 4th race of the season and the 3rd event of the West Coast Swing, the Toyota Save Mart 350 at Sonoma Raceway. But until then, here are your results, rookie points and regular points heading into Sonoma, and this is Levi McIntyre signing off.